What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Oblivion. Thank you for tuning in to the Cinebytes. And for this episode, well, we're about a quarter of the way through the year back to Thanksgiving. So we figured we would get ready for the holiday a little early and maybe talk about something we're thankful for. I'm thankful for Eli Roth slashers, for one thing. Jason, what about you?
Always the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Oh, yeah,
Deviled
I guess we
eggs.
could go back to something actually traditionally Thanksgiving related. But we have a special guest today, Mr. John Carver. Can you tell us a little bit about what you might be thankful for?
Oh, I'm thankful that we're almost all the way over to Thanksgiving once again. And I'm thankful, of course, for all of you Thanksgiving fans.
Excellent. Wait a minute. I think I recognize that voice. Who's that under that mask? That's not John Carver.
Hello,
Oh,
folks.
I was
Hey.
gonna say it's a ninja for a second, but no, it's Alex Armbruster, actor and stuntman.
That's me. Hey, the
Hey,
funny thing is that I don't know if you've seen the NECA action figure of this
yeah.
character ever, but if you've taken him out of the package, you can take off his mask and everything too, and he's got the belly clava on, and there's a set of eyes underneath there, and
Does he
they're
really?
it's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. So yeah, we've got a special guest joining us today. Obviously, is not actually John Carver, but he just played one on TV. His name is Alex Armbruster. Am I pronouncing that right, first of all?
That's Armbruster, yeah, yeah.
Armbruster. Okay. You're so cool, Armbruster. I don't know if you're familiar with Fright Night at all, but yeah, you're an actor and stuntman based out of Canada. You're originally from Vancouver, is that correct?
I was born in Vancouver. Yep. Didn't live there very long, only a couple of years when I was younger. And then my parents moved across Canada, and we've been in Ontario for most of my life. Yeah. So,
Nice. Very cool.
yeah.
We see you got a very impressive filmography here, and I want to talk about some things before we dive into the horror. You got some Marvel and DC stuff here, huge movies.
Yeah.
X-Men, Days of Future Past, Suicide Squad, Shazam, X-Men Dark Phoenix. There's some series stuff here too that's huge. The Handmaid's Tale, Arrow, The
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy, Letterkenny.
You familiar with Letterkenny?
I
Oh
love
yeah.
Letterkenny. Oh yeah. There were a couple other little known favorites of mine I saw on the list there. Warehouse 13 and Alphas, some sci-fi shows.
Ooh. Yes, yes. That's the beginning of my career when I first started doing stunts. I worked on those shows. Yep.
Nice.
They were really fun to work on. Some good stunts on those ones. Especially alphas, I remember.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some like kind of supernatural abilities that those guys had, so you could really work in some cool creative stunts into those scenes. Definitely.
Right.
Warehouse 13, I remember doing a cool stair fall one time. I got electrocuted by someone and then, yeah, went down some stairs.
There's a lot of cheesy electricity in that show. I
Yes,
vividly
yes.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, the CG wasn't great yet at that time.
It was a really fun show, though. I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, good. That's awesome.
Nice. There's a couple other high-profile films too, man. Pacific Rim, RoboCop, man. I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
Snowpiercer, Fubar.
Oh, that's with Arnold.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that
Twisted
was
Metal
pretty
one
cool.
too.
Yeah, I got shot by him in a scene in the first season. That was really fun.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
How many people can say that? Shot
exactly.
by the Terminator himself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very cool. Yeah, funny guy
I
too.
also thought there was another cool one. Me just being a Dan Brown fan in general. The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons. You were actually in The Lost Symbol as well.
I was stunt doubling a character in that for a little bit. Yeah, I got to do some basic fight stuff in it. Nothing too
Hmm.
crazy, but it was really cool to be a part of it. Too bad it didn't last longer than it did. I think it
Sure.
was only
Yeah.
the first season. Yeah.
Well, listen, man. This is a horror podcast, so let's go through here, and I want to actually mention the horror properties that you've been involved in, which there have been a lot of them. It's a pretty impressive list. First of
Thank
all,
you.
the Carrie remake from 2013.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the first, I think, horror movie I ever did. And I was in the prom scene in that. There's a scene where she's on the stage and then she kind of uses her powers or whatever to make everyone go
Right.
flying. And I
Yeah.
was one of the students going flying backwards over the tables and chairs and all that stuff.
Oh,
So we were on
awesome.
Okay.
wires and in
Yeah,
harnesses and
right.
they were yanking on us to go flying. So
Hell
that was
yeah.
pretty fun. But
Yeah.
I remember I was wearing the wardrobe put me in this like bright orange tuxedo for that scene. And it was like it was a tuxedo vest, so I had like a suit on top, but the bright orange is very noticeable on camera. And the director, for whatever reason, he needed someone to kind of hate on for that day or whatever, and he decided to pick on me because I had the orange on. He's like, "Get that guy in the orange!" Like I want him out of there. Like, it was just one of those days. But they ended up switching my wardrobe finally, and then all was good. But it was something with that wardrobe he didn't like.
Apparently. Yeah, we've also got the Poltergeist remake from 2015, the Hannibal series, the Strain series, 11/22/63, which is a Stephen King property.
That was a fun one.
Jigsaw. I mean, we could go on for days with this. What else you got over there?
Man, It Chapter 2, that's a huge one. Firestarter, Trap, that one surprised me. That was a very I didn't see it coming. Like I didn't know the movie was coming out really. That was fantastic.
M. Night Shyamalan for you.
Right. Black Phone 2, obviously.
That was a really fun movie.
A couple more here. Just Welcome to Derry, Devil in Disguise, which is John Wayne Gacy. I need to check that one out.
I watched a little bit of it. I haven't made it through all the way, but I got a couple episodes in.
Yeah, and I actually haven't. I honestly haven't watched every one of those movies that I've been in either yet. Some of them I just can't get around to. And also, young kids. It's hard to get the time for those types of shows. But
sure,
oh yeah.
Well, just as a reference, just to give us a behind-the-scenes peek here, especially for the bigger stuff like, It Chapter 2 and Trap, Black Phone 2, where would we have seen you in these movies?
It Chapter 2, not much, actually. That one, I got hired to double, I think, who was it? It was one of the adults, in the movie. You know how the kids became adults? Yeah, it was one of them. And I don't even think I don't even think I went to set on It Chapter 2. That's the crazy thing. I think I was there as like insurance for the actor in case he couldn't do what he needed to do, and then he ended up doing it. So not much in that movie. I did a lot more in Welcome to Derry when that was filming. I stunt doubled for. You remember the beginning scene in the first episode when they're in the car?
In the car,
and the baby's coming out, and so I'm driving that car. I'm doing all the stunt driving and stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool. Okay, so not only were you in that role in It Welcome to Derry, which I loved, by the way, did I see the information? Is this correct? You were also assistant stunt coordinator on that?
I did a little bit of that, yeah. So, the main stunt coordinator was Jamie Jones, and he's a good friend of mine, and he got me started in the business, and he's been really awesome in my whole career, and he's kind of getting me started in stunt coordinating now a little bit. So he's letting me cover him whenever he's doing like another unit or something like that, and he needs someone else, then he'll ask me to come in there sometimes. So got to do a little bit of that. So that was really fun. And I remember running big rehearsals with like tons of kids on wires, and when they're supposed to be floating from Pennywise, and then they all drop, and we had to make sure that was all good and ready to go for camera. So yeah,
well, they all float down there. So
that's right.
One more that I wanted to bring up was the new Frankenstein, the Del Toro Frankenstein.
Good old Guillermo. I saw that, and obviously that being a newer property, and it went over huge last year. I checked it out. I didn't think it was super faithful to the book, for one thing, but that's okay. It was definitely a very stylized and fresh take on the Frankenstein story. What was your involvement in that?
So there's a scene with all the sailors on the ship, and when the Frankenstein's monster is coming up to the ship trying to get to Victor, and all the sailors are in the way of that happening. So I'm the second one on the bottom before he gets on the ship. The second sailor that he attacks, that's me. And we the gag we called it the rainbow throw. So he threw one guy into the side of the ship first, and then I'm shooting at him with a musket. Right. And then he comes over and grabs me, does a big rainbow throw, boom, slammed me to the ground. And it was right in the camera. It was a really sweet gag, and it turned out really well.
Please tell me they edited a Wilhelm scream into that part. while you were flying through the air.
They no, it wasn't that exact scream. I know which one you're talking about, but they definitely dubbed something over it. It wasn't my scream, that's for sure. But believe it or not, like just for that gag that I did, which was kind of complicated, I was on 4 wires for that, and
Wow.
getting pulled in lots of different directions, and I had to make sure I didn't get tangled up when I got flipped over. Otherwise, I would have landed on my neck pretty awkwardly.
All
So
right.
everything was all the details are really important in that one. But I was there for about 2 months to
Oh my
like for
goodness.
that because we were
Wow.
all involved in the making of that entire scene, and the whole stunt team for that, we were helping each other out with all of our gags through that entire
Right.
sequence. So we
Sure.
were all there just doing it together. But that was 2 months worth of work, that whole scene. Yeah.
That's great. What's the danger in something like that? You mentioned you were attached to 4 wires. What's the likelihood that maybe you just get completely ripped apart, Hellraiser, the chains coming out and just grabbing a piece of you, and just tearing one limb in each direction? I mean,
Well,
there's
they're
got to be
not.
some chance, right?
What I will say is that the wires aren't. They're not taking me in opposite directions. They are taking
Sure.
me in the same direction. So that's fine. It's just a matter of being in the right position when they have to let off the wires and let gravity do the rest of the work. So
Right.
that's kind of up to the rigger to see. It's like, oh, is he going to get around in the right position before I can let him go? So it's kind of teamwork in that way.
Okay.
And things with wires can go wrong and do go wrong all the time, unfortunately, just
Thank
because
God you're
there's so
doing it
much.
in, yeah, thank
Go
goodness you're
ahead.
doing it in 2026 rather than, I don't know, 1973 or something like that.
Yeah, well,
I'm
they
sure it
would
was
there wouldn't.
much more
Yeah, there
dangerous.
wasn't many wires back then either. Like that's more of a more modern filmmaking thing.
Hmm.
Oh,
Back then, it was a little more practical, where they would often use things like air rams. Like it's a
Hmm.
big platform that's it's like a hydraulic piston that as soon as you step on it, it goes up, and
Yeah.
those
What?
were a bit dangerous because if you don't have the proper footing, then you can like
Yeah.
take your whole shin off.
Right.
Yeah, things can happen with wires. Like on the movie Suicide Squad, I broke my ankle quite badly at the end of that
Oh
movie
no.
doing a wire gag on that. I was doubling the Diablo character with all the tattoos, and I had to shave my head and all that. And at the end
Hmm.
of the movie, the character gets kicked backwards by a villain named Incubus, has to go flying 60 feet up a flight of stairs through a window and into a wall.
Oh my
And
God.
unfortunately, when I hit the wall, my leg swung behind me, and I couldn't get it back in time before I hit the wall, and it hit the wall awkwardly, and it gave me a nice spinal fracture in my left fibula, and I
wow.
was out for 6 months after that. But at least it made that shot made the movie at least,
Right.
and so it wasn't all a waste. And yeah, and I was good 6 months later.
Wow. There
But
you
unfortunately, I was supposed to go work on X-Men Apocalypse the next week, so I had to give up
go.
all
Oh
of those days.
Oh
That
man.
yeah, yeah.
that's a
Bummer.
bummer. Yeah.
But I had to go. Ended up getting on the next one, which was Dark Phoenix. So that's okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a special connection to horror films? It kind of seems as though you have almost as many horror as non-horror projects anymore.
Not really. It just kind of comes up. Like I'm not. I don't watch a lot of horror or anything. Like, and I don't
Mhm.
go. I don't go looking for it really, but it just kind of they film a lot of
Finds
it in
you.
Toronto for some reason. So lately, it's been coming in. So
Right.
and from doing movies like Thanksgiving, I've gotten to know Eli Roth pretty well now, which is nice. I've been doing some conventions with him
Very
in the
cool.
last couple years, and he came back in the summer, and we did a new one called Ice Cream Man that'll be coming out later this year.
Oh
So
yeah. You're
that's going
part
to
of
be
that,
pretty
huh?
wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be crazy.
Nice.
I saw some promo stuff about that. I was excited to see that. Obviously, that's a remake or at least a reboot of the
I think
Clint Howard.
I think it's an original idea. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, so this isn't connected at all to the original, like
I
Clint
don't think
Howard Ice
so.
Cream
I
Man?
don't think so.
Wow.
I don't. And I wasn't in every scene, so I don't know if he's coming back or not. I'm not sure of the whole
Right.
thing, to be honest. I've only I was only in a couple scenes, so I just know that part of the movie. But
Gotcha.
from what I saw, it's going to be pretty wild. So you're going to want to check it out. And it's his first movie in a while doing independently, so he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to say
Oh, nice.
yes or no to anyone. He just does what he wants, and so it's going to be pretty
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It really reminds me of like the movie store days. I never saw Ice Cream Man, but I know the cover
You're right.
because I used to walk by it and I always remember it, and then seeing this pop up, seeing stuff come full circles, it's awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
We were connected through Isaac Kane Moore of 1031 Appearances.
Yeah.
He's kind of known in those circles as the Thanksgiving guy, in fact. But in your case, you were one of the physical actors in Stuntman. Where in that movie did we see you?
About 85% of it. It was a lot of that movie. Yeah,
Nice.
it was a lot. The first time you would have seen me would be the entire diner kill with Lizzie the waitress. Which started in the diner in the back of the kitchen, dunked her head in the sink and,
Stuck it to the freezer door.
All that. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite kills from the movie.
Oh, it was awesome. And then obviously we took it outside, and then it was the whole car crash into the dumpster gag too, which was all practical. We had, her legs were like special effects,
right.
But that was all practical, and it was all of that stuff was inside the dumpster. So we couldn't hit the dumpster super hard and actually crash into it. Otherwise it wrecks all the special effects rigs. So we had the car rigged up to a big crane behind it on a bungee. So, and we had it lined up. So the car had a fixed endpoint. So I could basically just tap the dumpster no matter how fast I went. So, but it was a weird sensation being in the car attached to a bungee, just because like it was just a very like abrupt stop, and it actually lifted the rear end of the car up.
That's so cool though.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, so that was really fun. So that would have been the first time I was ever in the costume, and that was kind of a surprise actually, because when I got the job for stunt doubling for Patrick Dempsey. And I wasn't sure what I hadn't seen the whole script. I wasn't sure like who was the killer and what was going to happen. And then that day I showed up thinking, oh, I'm just going to double for him and do the same stuff I normally do. Let him do the acting and I'll do the stunt stuff and we'll switch. But he didn't end up being there that day at all. So it was kind of on me to take on this costume and the movement and the figure and kind of run with it. And I was really quite nervous actually going into that, because I want to make Eli happy as well, and he has this clear vision in his head of what he wants, and I hope that I can give that to him. And luckily it worked out really well, and we just kind of kept going with it, and they kept asking me to do it again and again. And Patrick was obviously okay with that too. So I'm really grateful to them for letting me do that.
I think it worked out extremely well. Eat your heart out, McDreamy. Alex Armbruster is the official Carver.
Yeah. So after that, I think what was the next scene after that? I was in the apartment with the security guard, Manny, by Tim Dillon, and got some nice stabbing to him in the gut, which
the turkey
was
carver.
funny because in the scene when after they edited it, it was like one of those electronic turkey carvers,
right?
Which wasn't what I had on the day, so they changed it. It was originally just like a chef's knife that was it was cut off with green or whatever, so they could add it in at the end. But they ended up putting a whole different weapon in that we didn't actually have, which was funny.
The turkey carver is a much better choice. Very similar.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was just something different, and it was kind of moving and vibrating like inside of him too. So it was kind of a nice thing. And then we moved into the strangling and then the beheading after that, which I think it was my favorite kill in the movie. I like that one. And then, of course, feeding the cat afterwards was a nice touch. I'm a cat person too, so I thought that was a good choice. And it makes you like John Carver a little bit more. You're kind of rooting for him a little more, you know?
Yeah, he's not just completely out for blood. He's not totally heartless. He's still a human being at the end of the day, you
Exactly.
know?
Loves his
Yeah,
cats.
exactly. So that was really cool. What else? We did the corn cobs in the ears for
Yeah.
Yulia. That was
hmm
really cool too.
That I
And
think was the kill that made me cringe the most. Just the idea of something stabbing your eardrums out. And I really love the effect that they did afterwards of they muffle the sound on the production. So we're kind of in her perspective hearing what she's hearing in that moment.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was really
yeah,
cool.
like the ears ringing or whatever I think it was,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's
that was
almost
really
like
cool.
the POV. You get a POV from her almost. You're not
Yep.
looking through her eyes, but you're hearing through her ears. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Yeah,
touch.
it was a tricky little shot because I have these big gloves on, like these things, and they don't have much dexterity when it comes to like holding little things like that.
Sure.
And Eli wanted the happy face of the corn cob to be in the perfect spot on both sides when
Right.
I'm doing it. And we ended up shooting it in reverse actually because we wanted to
Oh,
get in closer, and it was hard for me to do this like really fast and stop in the right spot without hitting the side of her head, you know?
Right.
So we ended up starting up close and then we did that, but then she had to react in reverse too. So
Right.
we did that a few times before we got it right.
wow. Yeah. How do you even begin to approach reacting to something like that in reverse?
That's
I don't
awesome.
even, I'm not even conscious of
Yeah,
what my face is doing when I react. You want me to do it backwards?
I
Okay.
know. Yeah. Somehow she did it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very
Luckily,
cool.
I just have the mask on, so it's pretty easy for me, you know, to change my emotions at all.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. So
uh,
I've heard of some buzz about a Thanksgiving too. Do you have any info that you can share about this at all? Or
I know that it's obviously green lit. They've already announced that it's happening. When I worked with Eli in the summer, he said that he was hoping for the spring. Um, we have I think me and the other cast have yet to hear about when it's happening exactly, and hopefully it'll we'll hear pretty soon. So
awesome.
Last I heard it was
yeah,
possible for 26, but I mean, we'll stay tuned and see what happens.
it
Right.
is.
Yeah, it's
It
still
is
early.
possible because if they get it done in the spring, like you know, the first time around was filmed in March, April of 2023, and then they came back for a few days in August to do some additional scenes,
Mhm.
which was the whole oven kill. That wasn't
Mhm.
Oh
originally in
yeah.
the movie. They came back to do that after.
Oh, okay.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was gross, man. So
yeah.
cool though.
That's another favorite of mine for sure. And but anyway, they got the turnaround to release that by November, so it's definitely possible because it's all practical stuff. They don't need to spend a ton of time on post production for this
Right.
movie.
Mhm.
So
I
assuming they
mean,
do
I think
some
that would
sort
be
of
ideal. Obviously, releasing a movie called Thanksgiving. When do I want that to come out?
yeah,
Right.
you got to do it, and you gotta keep the momentum up too. It's already been longer than I think they initially wanted to as well.
Sure.
You
Right.
know, so because of cast availability and things like that, everyone got busy with things, and there's so many people involved. So it's a
Right.
tricky
Mhm.
thing to schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're ready. We're ready for it whenever it's coming.
I think we're ready too.
I want to dig into the life of a stuntman. Tell us a little bit about your work. How do you get into it? What's your favorite thing about it? Does it hurt?
It
Yes.
can. It can. How do you get into it? Everyone has a different way of getting into it. Everyone has a different background. My background is extreme sports, and I started with aggressive inline skating in particular.
Nice.
That was my thing that got me into doing stunts and tricks and learning how to fall safely and all that stuff. That was kind of my base that I did for many years, and I did live shows around the world as well with another
Mhm.
stunt team. And I happened to meet some buddies at a skate park one day that were they were in the industry already. And their dad happened to be a man named Jamie Jones, who's a stunt coordinator. He did all the It movies, Welcome to Derry, all this.
Oh,
He did The Strain as well,
Sure.
tons of movies. And so I hit it off with these guys, and I saw how much fun they were having. They were making good money, but also doing the things that we love to do for fun anyway, and like just training, and I thought, you know what, I could really see myself getting into this. So I asked them to, get me on set somehow. How do I make this work? And so they hired me on a show called Skins, which was an MTV show. I was just a special skills extra, which is a step below stunts and a step above extra. So kind of this buffer in between the action happening on set. And it's a good way for a stunt coordinator to see if you can take direction properly, and without pressure, basically. So
Sure.
I did that, did a good job, and kept bugging him to get me my first stunt, which is a hard thing to do because it's all unionized. And in order for them to hire you, you need to be hired for a reason, instead of their other friends who are already in the business, in the union. So that's a tricky thing. And sometimes you have to wait for your break for that.
Yeah.
And luckily for mine, it was on a show called Breakout Kings. And they needed a stunt actor. And so they were using my face and everything. And the director basically just chose my look over a few other people that he submitted. And that was it. I got my first credit into the union. So
How fitting for your breakout role. Wow.
yeah, exactly, right?
Amazing.
I never thought of it that way. That's funny. Yeah, so that was good. That was a start. And then you need like 3 credits to be like a full member of the union. So another guy named Randy Butcher, he gave me a couple other credits on a show called Flashpoint, and that got me in after that. And then I was working more steadily at that point.
Nice.
Now, work was pretty sparse at first. It's gotten like pretty regular over the last few years, and I've been doing it for about 16 years now. But at first it's really sparse, and there's slower times of year and all that. So you have to keep yourself busy in the meantime when it is slower, and you're just training, working on different skills in the meantime, and just trying to get better at everything, basically. So, yep. And those skills range from, fighting, falling, driving, getting set on fire, all the fun stuff, wire work, weapons. Oh yeah, and just staying in good physical shape, just working out. Yeah, so
I'm in the wrong
it's always
line of
something to
business.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your question is, does it hurt? Sometimes it does. Yeah, that's just kind of the nature of the job. That's why they put us in as stunt doubles. We're the insurance, so that the actors don't get hurt and they have to shut down the production. Like, we are replaceable. They can
I
find
was gonna say,
someone
how
else
does it feel to know you're expendable, but they're
Yes,
not?
we are. That's the job. That's the job.
Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. But it's really rewarding. It gets you out of your comfort zone sometimes. Like, even if, like, sometimes I get nervous for certain stunts, and when they go well, it's a really, really great feeling.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask you about. Like, is there anything that you find yourself doing to prepare for roles, or like get hyped up to do something sometimes, and you're maybe a little bit more nervous about it? Or do you just get up, snort some wasabi, and just scream, "Let's do this"?
For me, it's like I really need to pre-visualize how I'm going to do something. So if it's something that I'm like really nervous about, I'm either going to go try and rehearse it a bunch, like with some mats or whatever, and just try to get it into my head what I need to do it safely. But yeah, oftentimes I try to pre-visualize exactly what I need to do in my head first, and I just make it happen in reality. Yeah, and also, like, if there's something you haven't done before, you try to find someone who has done it before, and you talk to them and see what worked for them. You try to get the tips and learn from someone else's mistakes as well before you make your own. So,
what are some of your favorite projects that you've worked on?
well, number one is Thanksgiving, obviously. I have to say that because that's the one that I had the most involvement in from beginning to end.
Sure.
And yeah, just like the unique kills in that one, or it's just something you don't get to do every day. That's for sure. Like putting someone in an oven and putting oil on her face and like doing all that stuff. Like, you don't get to do that all the time.
When you watch an Eli Roth movie, you should know what you're in for. You're gonna get those inventive kills, and you're gonna get great practical effects, and that's what some of us are coming to the table for in the first place.
All the superhero movies that I did, that was super cool. Like, Shazam, that was a really fun one for me. That was right in the heyday of all the like Avengers movies coming out, and it
Hmm.
was, so that was a really awesome period of time to be a part of a movie like that, especially
Sure.
at that level with like that big of a budget,
Right.
and being able to toss the suit on and have like the lightning bolt light up on your chest and have the cape on.
Yeah.
Man,
Big, big money.
it was so
Yeah.
cool. I remember doing a scene where I was like, just like jumping in front of camera, and then I had to go run up to this Ferris wheel it was built on a gimbal, so the whole thing would tip over like this because
Nice.
it was supposed to fall over or like
Yeah.
start to fall over, and then my character, he's the really strong one. Pedro is his name, and so he's in the green suit, and I had to run over and go like grab it and hold it up like this actual
Yeah.
Ferris wheel as it's falling over, and that was just like super cool moment.
Yeah. Epic.
Yeah, I did a lot of cool things on the Boys TV show. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I haven't seen it, but I'm familiar. That's another superhero adjacent thing, right?
It is, yeah. It's like a different take on superheroes, though. It's like if the superheroes were actually kind of villain, like they were
Hmm.
villains, and how they would abuse their power. So it was a
Nice.
kind of a more fun take on it.
Nice.
Yeah, and they really they're all about the shock factor on that show. So like how can we push the limits of what we can show on TV, sort of thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
oh yeah.
Well,
So
I need to watch this, is what you're telling me.
oh yes, it's pretty wild. I was involved in a pretty wild, actually two really wild scenes on that one, and
Okay.
go check out season 3, episode 1 at some point. I'm the termite stunt double, so your
Okay.
viewers might know that one. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Gotcha.
all I'll say. I won't spoil it for you, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I did notice as well, you've also done some stunt work for video games as well. I saw Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag in the mix, as well as Watch Dogs and Far Cry.
Yep.
What does that entail? Is that a lot of like mocap stuff?
It's all mocap, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a Ubisoft has a mocap studio in Toronto and one in Montreal as well. I usually work at the Toronto one, and you go in. It's a big, motion capture studio, tons of cameras everywhere, and basically we have these suits on that have reflective balls all over us,
Hmm.
and the team there, they have specific goals for what they want to shoot in a day. Sometimes it has to do with the story mode. Sometimes it's just like in the mode where you're choosing the guns or clothes or whatever, and they just need you to do whatever they need. Sometimes it involves some action,
Right.
whether you're throwing people, or sometimes it's like just with weapons. Like if you're picking out a gun, you're doing the action of like just picking up the rocket launcher and
Oh
like pulling it off
yeah.
your shoulder the way you actually would do it.
So like
So
everything, like the menus and stuff. You're like selecting your guns, so your character
everything.
swaps guns, and then
Right.
so you go from this to this.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
doing, yeah, that's cool.
I
That's
think I
crazy.
remember
Yeah.
when like Mortal Kombat came out, there was just a bunch of people that just had to go like this for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
They put like the
That's the
balls on
thing.
their
It's weird.
clothes. Right, right. Lots
Yeah.
changed.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's no just standing still. It's always moving. And
Right.
after they're done a take, you have to do something called a T pose. So you just get used to T posing in mocap.
Oh
You
my
have to do it
God.
before and after a shot. Yeah,
Huh.
so they always
Okay.
have to remind us to do that. But those are always fun days because you can use mats because they don't see them in the volume that they're shooting in. So and they're typically capped at like 8-hour days too. So it's always like
Right.
nice, predictable days when you're going in there. It's nothing. It's not You're not getting 14-hour days on location at night in February.
Right.
You know what you're getting. So
We mentioned the cons that you appear at. Give me a little bit of taste of the con life that you live.
sure, I really love doing the cons, and for being a stunt performer, it's a really unique opportunity that we don't really get to see very often, unless
Sure.
you are a masked character, basically. So it's I realize how unique it is, and it's so awesome. And
Yeah.
going to all the cons is so fun. All the fans, you don't realize when you're making the movie how appreciative all the fans are of your work, and the impact that has on them. and that's been a real eye opener for me.
I think that might be one of the most diehard fan bases that are the most appreciative of you doing something like that. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
soak it in while you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really want to get Thanksgiving 2 going so we can keep that momentum going and keep people
Right.
happy because a lot of people have been asking about it for quite a while now. So it would be nice to give them that. And it's going to be fun once we do start shooting it. It's going to be a lot more fun this time around, I think, because I know that everything we do is going to go a long way, and I know who we're making happy, you know?
Right. Exactly.
So it's going to be fun. And but yeah, like just the opportunity to travel around to all these different places I've never been before, man, it's such a blessing. It really is. So like I got to go to like the Albuquerque Comic Con last year, and like me and Karen, who played Kathleen in Thanksgiving, we decided to go down a day or like two days early. We went to Roswell for a couple of days because it's like
Oh,
it
yeah.
happens to be there. When am I gonna have a chance to go to Roswell? So we just
Exactly.
made like
Right.
a trip out of it, you know?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
mentioned the in-costume photo ops. Do you also do the table signing thing as well?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm at the table most of the time. I usually do like it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think some of them,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm usually at the table for most of those hours, and then we'll do the in costume photo ops as well. And I'll do it with like with this whole costume, and this isn't one of the on screen masks from the
Oh,
movie that I
Nice.
got as a gift at the end of the movie from our props guy,
hell yeah.
Very
Harley.
cool.
And yeah, so it's starting to take a little bit of wear and tear. So I need a new one from the next one. Because
You better put that
the
one somewhere safe if it was on
I
screen.
know, but you know, Trick or Treat Studios came out with a couple of the John Carver ones, like the burnt version and the regular version,
Hmm.
and they're not bad. I can use that as a like if this really isn't going to cut it for any longer, I can use those and it'll work. But this one is a little bit smaller. Those ones are they made those ones like a tiny bit bigger, so it looks a
Huh.
little not authentic to me. So I
Right.
prefer to use the real one. Yeah. And then the hat, I actually reached out to the costume designer of the movie, Leslie Kavanaugh,
Mhm.
and in exchange for some chocolates from my hometown, which she really loves, she decided to make a hat for me,
Very cool.
a replica. So that was really
That's
nice of
awesome.
her. Yeah. And then everything
So
else was super easy to get. It was just coveralls and all that.
sure,
So
right. Well, between the photo ops or the table signing thing, what's more rewarding to you? What do you prefer?
table signing because you have more time to speak with everybody
Yeah.
and get an idea of what brought them there. Some people travel from quite a ways away too, right? So
Right.
Hmm.
it's quite awesome to be able to talk to everyone and see what their story is.
Are you
Oh
going to
yeah,
be at any cons
yeah.
coming up soon?
Next one is Shreveport, Louisiana,
Nice.
and August 14th, and then the one after that is Minneapolis, Minnesota, October 2nd to 4th. Hopefully some come up in between now and then. That'd be nice, but see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So we as horror fans appreciate that you and the rest of the guests at these events do that. It's really a special thing for fans to be able to watch the movies and then, come and sit down and talk to the people on the big screen. So we
Yeah.
want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, between the movies to do that.
We definitely had a good time today. We hope you did too. I think that's about going to wrap it up for us.
Amazing.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it, guys.
Killer, mommy! Killer!
I bid you well.